Today I'm behind the wheel of a brand new 2021 Toyota 4Runner. Now it's unknown if this is the last year or second to last year before a brand new redesigned 4Runner hits the market. It could be 2022, 2023, who knows? However, with that said, who cares, because this 2021 and this current generation is a fantastic SUV. It's one of the only body-on-frame SUVs still being sold, and there are many advantages to that and some disadvantages as well. So in this review video, let me tell you and show you everything there is to know about this brand new 4Runner so you can decide if this is the right SUV for you. All right, let's get started. Now, first, I want to give a big shout out to Continental Toyota for making this video possible. So if you're in the market for a brand new or used Toyota, then definitely check out Continental Toyota. Their information is on the screen and also in the description of this video. So let's see how good this 4Runner is and how it drives. First, let's talk about the changes, because there's almost no changes for 2021. LED headlights, that becomes standard now across all 4Runners. That's really the only feature that gets changed for 2021. There is a brand new Trail Edition that's based on the SR5, and there's a fancy basket. The interior is a little bit different, and you get a big ice box in the back. So that's brand new. And the TRD Pro gets a brand new color, and the suspension gets revised slightly, but that's about it. There's really not that much that changed for 2021, and honestly, I think that's okay. Toyota, with their SUVs and their trucks, they're very conservative because there's a huge loyal following, and people love them, and because they're really, really dependable. Toyota doesn't want to mess with that. That's why they make very, very, very little changes on the 4Runner or the Tacoma or the Tundra or even the Sequoia. Now, at the beginning of the video, I mentioned how this is still one of the only remaining SUVs being sold today, a body-on-frame SUV and not a crossover. And there are many advantages to that. Well, what's the biggest advantage? Well, in my eyes, the biggest advantage to this 4Runner being a true SUV is the look, the exterior look. If you look at the front end, you can tell right away this is not a crossover. It's very squared off, very big, a lot of creases, a lot of edges, big LED headlights. You have fog lights, a big grille in the middle, and same thing when you move to the side, right? It looks like a tall riding SUV. Everything is squared off, a lot of sharp edges, and I like it. Most roof rails these days are integrated, and they're more for show. Not the one on this 4Runner. You could tell that it's meant to haul things, right? And it's much beefier than the integrated ones that you usually see with crossovers. And this Limited, you do have big, shiny 20-inch wheels, alloy wheels. And actually, I really like the design. I actually think it fits this 4Runner really well. And if you move to the back, it's kind of like the front, right? Everything is squared off. It's high, it's wide, a lot of lines. And look at those taillights. Those taillights have a very unique design. You still have a spoiler on top, a shark fin antenna. You do have one exhaust tip, and this Limited comes with a tow hitch. So if you want to tow your boat, your motorcycles, a trailer, whatever, you can. This 4Runner can tow up to 5,000 pounds. Now, the second reason why being a true SUV is a good thing is the ground clearance. This 4Runner has over 9 inches of ground clearance, and if you go up to like the TRD Pro, it's more than that. It's almost 10 inches. So that is fantastic. So when you're talking about approach angle, breakover angle, departure angle, some of those things, right? They're very important when you go off-road, and this 4Runner excels at all of them. So that's another big reason why being a true SUV is a good thing. Now, another advantage to this 4Runner being an SUV is the 4-wheel drive setup. On this Limited, it's full-time 4-wheel drive, but you can go to 2-wheel drive, too high and too low, right? So you get that extra gearing in case you really need it. You get stuck in the mud. You need to tackle some hairy terrain. Also, you do have a center locking differential inside this Limited, and you still have A-Track, which is a specially tuned traction control system. If you want to go to really muddy places or very hilly places, very rocky places, right? You really want to do some off-road adventure, then this 4Runner will do that. And you can't do that with a traditional crossover all-wheel drive system. It just won't handle it. It'll overheat and probably just break down on you. So what are some disadvantages to a box-on-frame SUV? Well, just like the name sounds, it's a box bolted to a frame, right? So not everything is integrated. So because of that, traditionally there's more body roll. The suspension isn't as smooth, right? And it weighs more. So there are those inherent things. But how do I feel inside this 4Runner Limited right now? I mean, I don't really feel any of those things. So how is this 4Runner around town? Well, it's really nice. The suspension is tuned really well, like I said. This Limited comes with a special one called XREAS, if I recall correctly. And it's a unique setup where the dampers are actually all connected, and the fluid could actually travel between them. And the purpose of this is to help with, you know, the drive, to reduce body roll, right? To kind of give more fluid or less fluid to the damper that actually needs it. And it's supposed to help with the drive. Right now, very nice. Very, very nice. Inside this 4Runner, you get a big steering wheel. This is more of a truck steering wheel, the same one that you find in the Tundra and the Tacoma, and there's nothing wrong with that. It's nice and thick. This leather feels really nice, and the button layout is pretty easy to understand. The steering wheel feels great, and the weight to the steering feels great too. It has a nice weighted feel, and the precision actually isn't that bad. There's a little bit of steering play, just a little bit, but it's actually not that bad. It's actually more precise than I was expecting. So I think the steering feel along with the steering wheel feels good, and when you match that to this comfortable suspension, it makes you feel like, yeah, you're driving something really nice down the road. What's also nice is how quiet it is in here. Actually, I was expecting louder, but it's very, very muted in here. I really don't hear much from the outside. Wind noise, road noise, cars passing by, even engine noise and exhaust noise. Everything is muted. So inside this Limited, you definitely get that kind of like luxury car feel also. So that's really nice. What about driving position and visibility? Well, I love the driving position because you do sit very high. You get a very commanding view of the road because of how high this 4Runner is. And I really enjoy that. And the visibility is good too because of how high you are. You get a very commanding view. The front windshield nice and big. The side windows are absolutely enormous. The blind spot is good too. And the rear window is good too. So visibility, really, really nice. And you just feel pretty airy in here. So no complaints. Now, what about everything else besides the drive? Well, I think for a midsize SUV, this is pretty good at being a midsize SUV. What I like, and it's unique to this 4Runner, is that back power sliding window in the tailgate. As far as I know, no one else offers it. And I think Toyota patented it or something because no one else offers it. And I think it's very convenient. You fold that down and you can just throw something in there, your bag or whatever, without opening the tailgate. And once you open up and you go inside the trunk, I mean, with the third row down, that's an optional feature that I'll show you in a little bit. But when you have the third row down, there's plenty of room in the back. There's plenty of room, and if you fold down the second row, you get even more room. So cargo room is not a problem. In the back, you have a household outlet, a 12V plug, and also you do see JBL subwoofer back there. This Limited comes with the JBL speaker system with 15 speakers. Yeah, 15 speakers, that's a lot. Now, if you wanted 3 rows, you can opt for it. You just have to pay a little extra for it. But with the third row up, there's like really basically no cargo room. So you do have to fold it down for some cargo room. And unfortunately, folding it down is a little bit cumbersome. Unlike most third rows where you can just fold it down, this one you have to watch out for the cushion. There's a cushion that's inside, and if the cushion is out, you can't fold down the third row. You have to actually move the cushion back before you could fold down the third row. And that's a little bit of a pain. So you just gotta watch out for that. Now, to get in the third row, on the driver's side only, you can move the seat forward. It does slide forward, but even when you do, the space to get in the third row is so small. It's really only reserved for kids. I didn't even test it out because honestly, I just don't fit. So if you're planning on getting in the third row, just know that it's really only meant for kids. Adults cannot get back there. Even if they did, it's impossible to get out and it's very cramped. So just keep that in mind. Now, because it's a limited trim, everything inside is covered in leather and it feels nice. It looks nice. I love the contrast inside this 4Runner. It's really nice. And as for space in the second row, it's okay. I'm 5'10" and I have about 4 inches of legroom, about 3 to 4 inches of headroom, and seats can slide and recline, which is really nice. And also rear passengers do get a pair of vents and 2 USB ports. And up front, plenty of space. I feel like it's very airy, plenty of shoulder room, hip room, right? And I think it's very spacious inside this 4Runner. Now, everything about this dash and the knobs and buttons and everything is big, huge, and again, masculine, just like the outside. Everything is huge. You know, this infotainment screen is okay. This is actually one of the newer features from within the last few years. This 8-inch touchscreen. I like this position. Actually, really convenient to touch and control. So I like that. The interface is just like all the other Toyotas. Not the most responsive. You do get navigation in here because it's a limited trim, but if you didn't like it, use Apple CarPlay, Android Auto. Those are standard, and also Wi-Fi is standard too. And you do have some quick navigating buttons on both sides and the volume knob and scroll knob. So essentials are there. But look at underneath. You know, the climate control knobs for selecting temperature, enormous on both sides. And the buttons for fan control, defroster options, all those things are very, very big. That's what I'm talking about. Underneath, you have a 12V outlet, a USB port. Unfortunately, you do have tiny little knobs for ventilated and heated seats. I wish those were bigger, but you do get both inside this limited, which is really nice. On the bottom, I mentioned how this 4Runner does have full-time 4-wheel drive, and there's a selector, right? If you want to select 2-wheel drive, you can, and that shifter or knob is also quite big, but I like how it stands out like that. Of course, you have a normal shifter. You also get nice features such as a dimming rearview mirror, also HomeLink buttons. You have a sunroof, memory seats, all the essentials you get in here. Now, what I haven't talked about yet is the powertrain. Now, the powertrain has not changed for a very, very long time. And honestly, it's because it works, and it works well, and there's really no need to change it, with one small exception. So under the hood, you have a 4-liter V6 producing 270 horsepower and about 278 pound-feet of torque. That's not bad. That's not bad. Actually feels very lively around town, and has made it to a 5-speed automatic transmission. Yes, a 5-speed. And this combination has been in the 4Runner for a long time, and it's one of the most dependable and reliable engine and transmissions on the road today. People swear by it. That basically, with just basic tune-up, it could last 300, 400, 500,000 miles, no problem. That is the reason why Toyota doesn't want to mess with this. I haven't been able to test acceleration yet, but around town, it always feels like it's in the right gear. It never feels like it's bogged down. There's plenty of power. Anytime I put my foot down, this 4Runner just accelerates like it should. I really love this setup. It actually feels really nice. Now, I mentioned that one exception. The only thing bad is fuel economy. Yes, fuel economy is not good. Let's just put it like that. Not good. Total 17 miles per gallon combined. So 17, that's really, really far behind the crossovers these days. So that's one of the downsides. By the way, these seats are very, very comfortable. I really like these seats. And it really helps with the drive. Not only does it feel good because of leather, but the cushion is nice and soft. They're holding me in. I'm not sliding around. The bottom cushion also very wide, and I don't feel like anything's cutting into my thighs or anything like that. So these seats are very, very nice. Okay, so today, pretty busy day. Don't have the opportunity to go up to 60, but I just accelerated from about 20 to 50, and that was pretty lively acceleration. I could tell because the 5-speed probably downshifted to second gear. The engine became quite loud, and I felt a thrust forward. It's not the quickest SUV, but again, I really like this powertrain and transmission combo. It's a good one. You never really feel like you're underpowered, so it's good. As for safety, the 4Runner is equipped with Toyota Safety Sense P, which includes pre-collision system, lane departure alert, auto high beam, pedestrian alert, and dynamic radar cruise control. As for trim levels and pricing, there are 9 different trims to the 2021 Toyota 4Runner. The base is the SR5 and it starts over $36,000. Then you have the new Trail Edition, which is based off of the SR5 and it starts over $38,000. Next, you have the SR5 Premium, TRD Off-Road Premium, Venture Special Edition, and finally the Limited. The Limited starts over $45,000 and that's what I'm driving today. Finally, you have the Nightshade Edition, which is based off of the Limited, and finally the TRD Pro, which is over $50,000. By the way, there are some Keep It Wild saving discount listed for certain trims, but I don't know how long they will last. To conclude, the 2021 Toyota 4Runner is more of the same and that's perfectly okay. The 4Runner looks like a masculine SUV and not a feminine crossover. The 4Runner is high riding with lots of ground clearance and provides a 4-wheel drive system that can pretty much go anywhere. The 4Runner is also quiet and comfortable around town and has plenty of space and features for the whole family. The 4Runner also has a tried and true engine and transmission combo that never feels underpowered and is always providing lively acceleration. The bad to the 4Runner include the poor fuel economy, the very cramped optional third row seats, the brake pedal feels a bit bushy, and finally the lack of optional features. Overall, I'm giving the brand new 2021 Toyota 4Runner Limited a score of 98. To learn more about it and to see where it ranks, check out driversonlyrankings.com. Hit the like and subscribe to the channel and check out these other videos.